What? Not the dart again. So here we're not talking about the orange. The orange is done. We're happy with the orange. You can see through the plastic. It all looks the same. Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Rust is all repaired. So now we're going to do the black. We're going to do the hood. We're going to do this part of the cowl. I got to come in here and Scotch-Brite that edge a little bit, but otherwise we're laying it the way it is. Again, not a perfect car. We set this here. The hood slightly favors this way, so that'll keep the hood up. So what we're doing now, we're just going to come up the edge to catch it with the first coat of black, and that'll be black enough. Again, you know, old race car. Then we'll come around this side. We'll do the same thing. So we'll just kind of hit this, a little bit of black, and we're going to gently drop the hood down. And what we'll do then is we'll start in the middle here, we'll work our way out, and we're going to come right across. And we're not going to pick the hood up for a second coat. Whatever we get on here, the first coat, is going to be fine. We'll make sure it's black and covered. But once we shut the hood will be like just to say popped up, so we'll be able to catch that side. And after the first coat, the second coat will melt right in. So we'll be happy with that. It's going to run down the firewall. There might be some primer and some overspray under that tape from other paint jobs before. We don't care about that. Now, the owner could go ahead and throw a little bit of foam there and spray bomb that all in, but it's all orange and it's decent, so I doubt he'll do anything. Again, this car is what it is, and it's a driver. We're not going to bother changing the orange under here. It's that darker orange, and there's a lot of oil and gook. We're not going to touch it, and he basically said don't disturb that because apparently it has that and he wants to retain that. For me, I yank all that shit off and I like to clean up my hoods, but you know, that insulation I guess is quite expensive, and in the case of this car it's one of those few things where it was on the hood, so why not use it? And he didn't care that the orange was a different color. So, you know, it's just choices that owners make, and that's fine. We're not too worried about that. We're just going to leave that red orange the same as the bottom, but you know, we'll get a bit of overspray. We're not going to try to catch the line. We're just going to do the face. I just put that there to keep it a little cleaner. The idea here, there's a chrome trim that goes across that. You don't see any of it, but you know, you still want to paint it so it's protected with a urethane in behind. So basically, two edges, drop the hood. Now you're looking at how it's plastic, so let me explain what we did. The whole car is basically wrapped in plastic. Then we gently cut out the plastic with a razor blade. The one I got's like a hook and you pull it. And we taped it. We taped it to the chrome and all that stuff. Now here, you can barely see it, but our orange tape is just barely covering the orange paint that we put here because we had to, there was a bunch of dents and scratchiness here we had to fix. That's why the primer on both ends. So that way, you know, just so the orange paint looks nice. Like he said paint right over it, but it was rough. So our orange paint here is nice and it kind of blends up here on both sides. So when we black this out and black that out, everything will look good. I didn't think about it at the time, but had I thought about it ahead, I probably would have painted that whole cowl with the orange because it matched good enough we could have pulled it off, and then just did the hood in black. And the reason we want this black, one, as a race car this had a black hood, but mainly because the hood will never match the rest of the car. It'll really stand out, and the owner just thought, let's just not take a chance and we'll do it in black. So with the black stripe, the black hood, I think it's going to look great. So basically we cut along the windshield and then we came all the way down the fender and we just taped this to the inner fender, and then we gently moved the plastic and put it in over the engine and then taped that to the first tape that we did. You can see them little holes down there. There's nothing in there but inner fender and grease. We won't get enough down there to matter. It's just so that the hinges can go up and down in the holes. We just taped around them. But everything else is taped pretty good. The side is taped. This little hole won't do anything. It's just from this guy. But yeah, and that's just basically a sweep. Now if some overspray or whatever gets under here, I mean, I have a feeling he's going to keep this oily. So this is how it's probably going to be. So we're not going to worry about that too much. But once we hit those sides and shut the hood, you're not going to get much in there. All the overspray is just going to get sucked into the filter. So this way, you know, the engine in this car is clean and colors are correct. So this way we have a way of keeping everything half decent. There was a Dodge emblem on the hood. There was no way to tape that up realistically. We took that off. These guys, he said, leave them on because they're under the insulation. So we just taped around them and Scotch-Brighted what we could. So next time you see it, she'll be done. Thanks for watching. Cheers.